Hi, you. I feel like I've almost got it together this morning with my Insta and my Facebook Live, looking at a couple of different angles, but overall, I'm pretty happy with that this morning. So you can see I'm not in my usual spot. I'm actually in glorious Brisbane, although the weather's not that glorious, but it is warmer than Melbourne, so hooray. What I'm talking about this morning is self-worth. Ooh, such a big topic. So I think the trouble with self-worth is actually trying to understand what it even means. So, what does being worthy mean? And I guess one of the ways I like to think about it is it's your own worth. So it's not what anyone else thinks of you. It's actually what you think of yourself. And it is critical to good health to feel worthy. So the worthy word, again, it's not a word that lots of us use, but the worthy word is about feeling good enough. So when you feel good enough to do anything, and I know there's that big movement of I am enough, even that phrase, I like the sentiment, but the phrase itself, it's not a phrase I've ever used. It's I'm insert word enough. I'm good enough. I'm thin enough. I'm healthy enough. I'm, housewifey enough. I'm doctory enough. I don't know. It's about accepting that you are good enough. So I was having to think about this because for a lot of people, they define their worth by the pesky number on the scales. And we've all done that, where you've hopped on the scales and they determine how you feel about yourself and how you feel about your day, particularly if you're embarking on some sort of, weight loss or health program. Your brain translates that to the number on the scales, and that's why you're doing it. So we go, oh, well, I'm doing this because I want the number on the scales to go down, because then I will feel better about myself, and then I will be able to live my life on my terms. So what happens is when we don't feel worthy or we don't feel good enough, we don't look after ourselves enough. Now, it's interesting. I glanced at a show the other night, which the topic made me cringe, and it was something like how to look 10 years younger in 10 days. I have a problem with that because the implicit messaging in that is that if you're old, therefore you're not as worthy as if you're young. So there's a lot of, there's some ageism in that. But when I watched the show, it was really about two women who didn't feel good enough. So when they didn't feel good enough, they didn't look after their hair, they bought clothes that were too big, they didn't feel worthy enough to be noticed, so they made sure they were invisible. And by doing that, so they just hid under their big clothes, never, didn't spend any time on their hair, their makeup, anything. And that then reinforced their lack of worth because they were invisible. Nobody noticed them, which is exactly what they thought they deserved. And then they got that, and so that reinforced their notion. So what I would always say to somebody, because people go, I don't want to buy new clothes while I'm this weight. I don't want to waste my money. It's like, okay. Two things. It's never a waste of money to look after yourself. If you buy something that makes you feel good, then that is going to make you feel good, which is going to make you do the things that you want to do to feel good, because we have this thing called a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I see it all the time. Women in particular who are perhaps heavier than they want to be will not spend any money on themselves until they get to their perfect weight. And then they spend their life feeling unworthy, unloved, unrecognized, and give up because they didn't think they were worth it in the first place. So I would always say, listen, it's never a waste of money to buy something that makes you feel good. Even if it's only for 6 months, it doesn't matter. You can always get clothes adjusted. You can always do that. So your self-worth has nothing to do with the number on the scales. And I was thinking, oh, well, so what does it have to do with? Because, if it's not the scales, it's not the scales, it's not the size of your wallet, it's not how much money you have in the bank. Your self-worth, as I said, comes from within, and it is knowing, your inner knowing that you are a good person. That is really what self-worth is about. So you can be thin, you can have plenty of money, and you can be mean. And I look at those people and think, you're not very worthy. You're not a good human. So self-worth is that inner knowing that you're a good human, which has nothing to do with the number on the scales. So my loves, I implore you today, remind yourself that you're a good human, that good humans deserve good things. You don't need to wait till this magical number happens. Start now. Look after yourself. Buy yourself the lovely clothes. I'm looking here at my own hair going, "Oh, I haven't done my hair this morning," but I will. Look after yourself because you bloody deserve it, because you're a good human. People always joke, because I'm often saying, have you murdered anyone? Have you ripped off old ladies? Basically, there are people out there who are inherently mean and, in my mind, unworthy of, certainly my respect, my love. People that are deliberately mean, people that are deliberately scheming, people that are deliberately ripping off other people. They're rubbish. They are rubbish people. If you're carrying some extra weight, big bloody deal. I couldn't care less. And I think that that's what we need to start being really, really, that's the message. Couldn't care less. And I know it's tricky. I know, I get it. The messaging is tricky because on one hand, we're going, right, doesn't matter what you weigh, who cares? And on the other hand, we're going, well, obesity causes health problems. There is a middle ground. It is that balance. It's finding that balance. But actually the balance, you know what the balance is? The balance is doing the things that you need to do to look after yourself. Eat well, sleep well, manage your stress, move a bit, connect with your friends, eat some gut-friendly food, do some intermittent fasting. Do those things and the results will come. You can do them because you deserve it. All right, my lovelies. That's probably it for now. I have to go and get a plane. Woohoo. And I will see you all tomorrow morning. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye, darlings.